Well, that went a little bit sooner than what I thought. Countdown wasn't fully done. Hey, Tyler, hope you're doing well. I'm going to mute my mic for, I'm going to do a cubicle Nate, but purposely. I'm going to mute my mic. I had a big issue yesterday where I didn't set up my audio right. So I'm moving my Linux setup from an Arch-based system back to an Ubuntu-based system, and I'm rebuilding a lot of things, resetting things up, renaming, making it more organized. And didn't realize that the music, I normally don't send music through to YouTube because I play, what we're allowed to play on Twitch while we're live. And then on the VOD, it's not there. All that music was going through to YouTube yesterday. Surprisingly, um, I did get not even a warning. I didn't get a copyright notice. Most of the songs were copyright. It's just that they were blocked in two areas. Didn't tell me where, like what countries or whatever they were blocked in. And two, that I wouldn't be monetized. Well, I'm not monetized on YouTube anyway. But I don't want to go through that trouble and that. So I want to check out and make sure my audio is going through. So I'm going to mute my mic for a minute. You spent too much money fixing the AC in your car, but other than that, doing well. Spent the holiday weekend in Minnesota. Okay, cool. Um, I'm just gonna mute my mic for a minute, so that way, what's if music is coming through, it's that way I can hear it because I'm monitoring it on my laptop over here. So I'll be right back. All right, I think that does it. Yes. Okay, I fixed that. I hear myself talking. Okay. All right, we are good to go. Yeah, I was more than halfway through the stream yesterday, and Cody had gotten. I know I hear music, and he got on from YouTube. He set up a tablet as his Android Auto in his truck, so he's able to listen to YouTube streams while he's driving. But yeah, I'm surprised. There were like about 13, 14 songs. Usually you get slammed with copyright strikes, so YouTube must be changing just a little bit. It said I deleted the stream anyway. I didn't want to go through that from yesterday. You want to watch anything, you can watch the VOD on Twitch. What I may do is download the VOD from Twitch because it won't have the music in it, and then put that on YouTube as a supplement. But if I was okay with not making any money, which I'm not monetized on YouTube, so excuse me, that's okay with me. So like I said, so I'm in the process of moving from an Arch-based system to stream to an Ubuntu-based system. Couple of maybe little reasons and some big reasons, at least for me. Turn the background music down again. Here we go. Um, One, I use an AUR version of OBS. It's the OBS Studio Titan build. I'm sure that's 100% okay. Titan is one of the helpers over in OBS on the Linux side. And he did a pretty good job. It ran really well and that. And he actually packaged up a number of plugins. Where I get concerned is some of the plugins, I know that some of the developers haven't done it. Someone else did it. Do I run the risk? And I know you can. I'm trying to make things for me as simple as easy as possible in that. By also being on an Ubuntu-based system, I get access right away to any plugins. I can get to the developer right away. I mean, majority of the plugins are by two developers that I use anyway, Finite Singularity and Exeldro, and I both chat with them from time to time, more Finite. And if there's a problem that comes up, I can reach out to him. Whereas I have to wait to whoever packaged that particular plugin on OBS to do their thing. Now I can learn how to compile my own plugins. Again, I don't want to have to go through that. Sometimes it's enough to keep the system up, and that it's how easy that I want to make this. Plus, the PPA from OBS is your more Windows-like install. Everything is, everything is in there. Everything works. But right now, so I'm using an Ubuntu base that's 2404. A lot of them moving to 2604. OBS has not released a version of OBS for 2604. And from my understanding, 2404 won't work. Flatpak does me no good. So to me, Flatpak is half OBS. If you do very little with very little on plugins and that, Flatpak is fine. But I use 30 plus plugins. And then it forced me, I am horrible, as I've mentioned many times, in naming schemes. And I wanted to redo my scenes and name them a little bit better so they work out better for me. So when I have to look for them, find them, and all that. So if you're into OBS or you're just getting into it, whether you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux, get a good naming scheme and it will help you find stuff. It really will. It will put it in better order. Like I use blank scenes to separate it. I just name them and put things in order for one. But like I'll have what I call a nestable scene, and things I create to nestable scene is you build a scene and then you put it in another scene. But as you see, like masks, so I can start looking for a mask and I know what I can find that way. I've always had my stuff in my DSKs downstream keyer, which is like when you have the DSK plugin and that, and it's like an overlay. You put certain scenes in it, and it will go over all the other scenes. And then a lot of things I built for StreamerBot, like my main StreamerBot scene, which all these are kind of nested into that, but I can build other scenes better. I have a lot of groups. I've had pretty good success with groups, but groups are like another version of scenes, but they sometimes sizing them right could mess up real easy. I'm learning it's better to build a nested scene, build another scene, and then throw that into the scene instead of using groups, and they're easier to edit. So I'm going to be slowly doing that. And then my start streaming, and which I got tied into my advanced scene switcher. So my timing must be off just a little bit because I had 12 seconds to go and um, it went live. That's okay. That's easily fixed. And then for my main scenes, I could have come up with better names, but these where you can see these have spaces in them up here. These don't because I created a voice control and it uses OBS CMD for the control. And I have a keyword. And so I do the keyword, and then because of OBS command, it needs to have the scene that you're calling up. And it doesn't just have to be a scene, you can have other things in it. It has to be one word. So that way in your script it works. So if I go computer, right monitor, it switches to the right monitor.
Here's the right monitor, boss.
I have a TTS reply to me that it's the right monitor. So that's why these are not, I had done these first before I did that. I am not changing these. These are fine. These are my main scenes. So I have my starting stream. I have 2 scenes in that, get ready, and then starting soon. And then it goes for 6 minutes, both of these. And then it goes into my main view right when we start. And then I have 2 scenes at the end for end streaming. When I go into my goodbye scene, it starts a countdown, and it's also tied into advanced scene switcher, and then it will automatically stop the stream after 90 seconds. 90 seconds. 60 seconds for the goodbye scene, and then 30 seconds, I believe, for the end. And that. So, and I slowly started in some of these scenes renaming stuff. And also I changed my color scheme. If this might be, I have to look at it. I have a blue scheme for Windows, but it's more the Windows blue. The Ubuntu-based system I am testing with and using right now is called Anduin OS. It's basically a GNOME desktop with a lot of plugins. The developer has customized it to kind of look like Windows 11, but you can see I have the bar, and I have a temp thing just like on Windows. And although what I do like about Windows is the notification stays in a little box and it doesn't spread across the screen like this. So maybe if someone wants to make a GNOME extension that does that, that would be great. But I kind of like my icons in the middle. Gotten warm today. I probably should have turned on the air conditioner. I think we're getting more heat. But I got ceiling fan running on me now and that, so we're really good. So far I also readjusted my chat scene, my messages, and which reminds me I gotta I use a program called Speakerboo, and this has this is like the replacement. You can think of it as a replacement for SpeakerBot in Linux. Some have gotten SpeakerBot to work, but you have to do some extra things. SpeakerBot, just installing SpeakerBot alone isn't going to give you the SpeakerBot actions because SpeakerBot uses a lot of Windows. It uses like Windows voice control, and it also uses online AI like Monster TTS and that, which unfortunately you can't really get to work on Linux. But this little young developer, she put together, this is a drop-in replacement. It's relatively in beta, but I have had no issues with it whatsoever, except it only lets me keep 4 TTS scenes and that. So when you send a regular TTS, it's the voice of Alan Pope, a longtime contributor to the Linux community in that. And then like when I do my verbal scene switch, that's a voice that I have because these uses Piper TTS is built into this. And if you use Home Assistant or something like that with an .onx file, you'd be familiar with it. They have a lot of voices in it. And then you can find a lot of custom voices out there that people have trained, have AI trained and all that. But like I have to add, what do I call it? I found a Data, I found a Picard, I found a Hal, and I found quite a few others. A George Carlin, I found Picard, like I said, Data, Hal, oh, K9 from Doctor Who. Uh, uh, and I have those added, but it only remembers 4. I can probably remove like 2 of these and that, but that's okay. Let's see. So you add the new alias, and I'm going to add Data. What I can do is I can rename the files so at least it would be easier to find here. These voices take up anywhere from 70 to 110 megabytes of space. They're not really large. Cool part is that they are on your system. They're not going out to the web. So they are pretty instant with your setup. And it uses the same WebSocket that StreamerBot uses. So StreamerBot thinks this is SpeakerBot. You can run a test.
This is a test message.
And let's see. I don't know why I have such a hard time finding stuff. Oh yeah, that's right. I have Jarvis. All right, where are you? Oh, right there. Okay, save changes. And you just run a test and it tests it for you.
This is a test message.
And I'm putting these 4 back in because these are the 4 that I have along with TTS on my setup. And I got a look. I don't know if I've adjusted my, I have a scene that works with the TTS. So Tyler, we went to, oops.
This is a test message.
Oh, I didn't, dummy. There we go.
This is a test message.
And but I can't hit a space bar here. Save changes.
This is a test message.
Okay. So I do have a list if you like I downloaded an NX file that has English voices. It has a bunch of US and a bunch of Great Britain voices that I've added. And Alan, again, he had donated his voice for one of the Mycroft, was it? Linux projects and that. This is the ones that come when you install Speakaboo, and it's pretty easy to do. She's got a GitHub. I think you can even install this. Yep, Mycroft from Lawrence. Yep. So he popped in about a month ago, and I go, hey, listen to this. You know who this person is? And he talked about maybe doing better, giving them a better speech to work with. But these are all, I mean, you can Arabic. Now, some of these may slightly work with, English translations or with English sentences and have that type of, boy, I'm losing it today, dialect. But there's Arabic, Catalan, Czech, Greek, English, US, English, Great Britain, Spanish, Argentina, Spanish, Spain, Spanish, Mexico, Farsi, Finnish, French, Hindi, Hungarian, Icelandic, Italian, Georgian, Kazakh, from Kazakhstan, Luxembourgish, Latvian, Malayan, Nepali, Dutch Belgium, Dutch Netherlands, Norway, Norwegian Norway. What was the other one up here? Norway. I rang up another name. Polish, Portuguese, Brazil and Portugal, Romanian, Russian, Slovak, Slovenian, Serbian. There's a lot of voices here. And then if you go online, you can find a lot of, .onx. Those I just drop into a certain file, and you need actually two files. Let's see, let me find those. And I may have to look for another OBS or another Ubuntu base, because I'm looking for something that I don't have to rip out snaps or anything like that. I want a pretty lightweight, and this promised to be lightweight, but it does get pretty slow. They have a 2604 version out with GNOME 50. Let's see. Was it in local? Share. Speakaboo. Here we go. Speakaboo. Voice data. So these are all the extra voices that I add in, and when you download them, it throws them into this local. It's a .local file. But there's two files per voice that you need to make sure they have to match. And you can change the file names, but you have to do it with both. There's a here 16 speakers dot onyx, then 16 speakers dot onyx dot JSON. You have to have both those files for voices to work in Piper and in the Speakable. So when you're looking for these, you have to find them with both. So let's see, I want to do a test. We'll just do a regular TS test.
Steve's very own says, am I working?
Okay, the voice came through, but I have a whole mess of stuff that should work. And that's what I have to change. So Ty, yep, that was Popey. Um, Went to Summerfest on Saturday for the 4th with my wife and son. Saw a couple of Minnesotan bands. You might have heard of them, Soul Asylum and the Jayhawks. And then we saw the Bodines and a bunch of, if you've ever been to Summerfest, it is a great great music place. Let's see. So, yeah, I gotta fix some of these. So, like a dummy, my Linux system, I'm pretty sure the Jayhawks are in Lawrence. What did they said they were from around Minneapolis. So when I installed Endeavor OS, I put my regular name Steven in there on my Ubuntu base, which I usually do. I put Steve's very own, and I got to change a lot of these files to make sure that they work. Because I have some actions that show up on the screen when we do the TTS. Kansas University are the Jayhawks, so that's where they got their name from. Yeah, they were celebrating 40 years. Them and the Bodines were celebrating 40 years of music. The Bodines are one of my favorite bands. I love the Bodines. So we've gone the last 3 years now, and we've gotten in free each time. They do have specials. Normally $33 a ticket, which does not include the pavilion. And those are whatever the artist charges. Like the night we were there, Jelly Roll was there, but we weren't going to that main stage. This year there was a this is one of the tunes that I got. I should double check to make sure that nothing's going through on. But they were playing. So the music that I'm playing right now are bands that were playing on Saturday. Now I've added some other. I thought it was a good way to find some good music. I just pulled up their list and started listening for the music. The morning of the 4th, I watched a parade go through the town I was staying in. Went to the festival in town, and later in the afternoon, I caught a friend's dueling piano gig. Then hung out with him and his family after the show, grabbed dinner, and caught a fireworks show by the lake. Yeah, they had a pretty good fireworks show. We did get rained on a little bit, and thankfully, because we were in the hundreds here last week, and it was cooling off a little bit in Milwaukee. It was in the mid 70s, humid though, but it was a bit cloudy. And we only got rained on and not really hard for about 30 minutes. So we got pretty lucky. But we got there about 1:30, and Bodine's were the last bands that we watched, and they played till 11:30. And it's an hour and a half ride for us from Chicago area. And this is the bad thing about um, changing names. Because I change them all in OBS, which means I have to change them all. Then my setup for the scenes in that in StreamerBot again. But doing this too, because some of these things I've built a year, 2 years ago and left them, and I was pretty new at this. Now I don't use any C# to do it, but some of my setups were a little bit off, or I had things in there that actually didn't do anything and I never deleted them. So I'm able to clean them up. That's the good thing about going through this. It's a bit of a pain, but well worth it. And I have to be careful because I fixed a couple things yesterday and they still weren't working, to realize that I didn't um, type things right. And I'm noticing too with this now, I don't get this in Endeavor, and I'm using bottles to you can see where the screen's blanking out there behind me. I don't get that in bottles, but I found out that the developer of this distro is using a lot of Rust. I don't know if he's going as much as it's still a GNOME. He's not doing like a Cosmic desktop. It's GNOME 46 that I'm using right now. But I do know that, or I have noticed that when I was on Cosmic, and it just messed everything up with the OBS and StreamerBot. So I might not keep this one, but I didn't want to use Ubuntu. I didn't want to use for me it needs to be GNOME. And I've been looking at, Zorin. Zorin's okay for new people, but they also throw in snaps in there, and you gotta. I don't want to go and rip out a lot of stuff. I was looking at Voyager again, and for some whatever reason, I have difficulty getting it installed or running. Same issues I had way back when I tried it out about 5 years ago. Nice looking distro. They do have a just a flat pack version, but it just does not want to install. I've used Ventoy. I've created its own USB hub. That hub. Okay. Let's see.
Steve's very own says, am I
There we
working
go.
now?
I could probably reduce the timing on that. Those are right. Okay. And then the only other thing about Speakaboo and TTS is it's very lightweight, very limited. Again, it has no access to online AI voices like Monster TTS or Google or Azure or those. But like I said, there's a lot of voices in there that you can use from Onyx, for like Piper TTS. The other thing is it doesn't have the ability to block emojis in that. So I did create um, a filter, and let's test that out. And then let's see. You shouldn't speak out the emojis.
Steve's very own says no emojis.
It works. Now it will pretty much um, filter out most, but it doesn't take in consideration all emojis. But that way people can't put a bunch of emojis in and it reads the emoji. All right, so I could make this easier. It uses everything the same except the speaker bot. So instead of having to go through and change all these, what can I do? I can make a TTS template that will be from here to the end. And then these will actually be the same too, but this is the main speaker. I can't put that in the middle if I do a specific template. So it would pretty much add I can make two templates. That's why if I add other voices, I can change them. I can add them really easy. So let's do that. So we're going to take TTS from chat. We're going to make a duplicate out of it, because that's all the changes that I made. Then we're going to rename this. Edit, rename it. We'll call this TTS actions. We'll call this TTS actions 2. And then I'm going to delete all this. And then, because I want, so these three will be TTS action 1. Then I would put the speaker bot action in the middle, and then this at the end. So it would be 1, then the bot, and then 2. TTS actions 2. But I didn't. Oh, okay, yeah. We wanted to name that one 2. And then I don't want to delete this yet. We'll duplicate this one. And we'll call this TT action 1. And there'll be a method to my madness. So on TT action 1, I actually will be, can I delete? No. That's one thing you can't do is highlight all of them, as far as I know. You can delete all sub actions, but I don't want to delete all the sub actions, so I have to go through. So action 1, I want these 3. So I delete everything. Okay, I can just do it that way. All right. That will be TTX action 1, and then on 2, I just need to delete these. Okay, so then what we'll do is I'm going to do two things, see if this works. I'm going to copy this sub action. Then we're going to go and we're going to do delete all sub actions. Yes. Okay. And then it deletes that. I won't be able to paste it then. You can't do control. Oh, you can. Okay, great. So now I want to add, is it core actions, run action. And then I'm going to go into TTS and take action 1, and we'll select that. And actually this will go below it. Oops, come on, come below it. All right, why aren't you doing? Well, I'm doing stuff I haven't done before. And then for actions, run action. Use a search filter, Steve. That works really well. Okay. There we go. So now this should work with data. All right.
Steve's very own says I can do this much faster.
All right, that will be perfect. So now if I add other voices, I could just do the action instead of having to, I guess I could have easily duplicated again what I did, but I have a lot of these run actions throughout some of my setups to make it easier. Just want to make sure that testing 1, 2. Okay, still no music going through. All right, I do have that set up right. Very good. No more warnings. Okay. Okay, let's copy sub action. Delete all. Add core actions. Run action. Action 1. Action 2. Make this one move her into middle. Okay. No Hal voice. Let's see.
This is a test message.
It's running that way. Randy actions, but not the voice. Let's see.
This is a test message.
Okay, that's coming through on OBS. Oh, it's Hal, not Hall. Oh, jeez. No, why all of a sudden?
This is a test message.
All right, what's going on here?
Steve's very own says run computer, Steve.
Computer. Oh my God. Did I spell it that way? Holy shit. Oh God. All right. Data's working with this setup. Oh, Tyler. Why do I still do this? I don't know. Ah. Maybe we'll do something a little bit different. All right, let's test Jarvis. Up, up, up. Now all of a sudden, the others aren't working, but yet
This is a test message.
what has changed from data running? Because I have these up here in my redeem. Data. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing here. Let's see if this will work. think because I renamed these here. Oh, that was hell. All right, let's see if that works. I know the exciting stuff today, but I don't know if these work if I'm not doing a live chat.
Steve's very own says get with it, Steve.
Okay, that was it. So I have to fix these. Jarvis. Okay. Jeepers Creek. All right. Why? Do I have too many spaces? Yep, that's what it is.
This is a test message.
Simple as that, adding an extra space, an extra letter, and we'll see if it works.
Steve Varone says you are no Tony Stark.
There we go. That's what it was. So when I set up the voices, I put an extra space in, and it's not reading them right. All right, one more. Just make sure that card is right. Should be. Action, and we want I want the redeem one. I want the fresh one. That's that one. No. I want Dummy, dummy, dummy. Okay. There we go. Using and moving them around. All right.
Steve's very own says make it so.
All right. Now, these should work. Hope from YouTube. Okay, so it doesn't grab the TTS from YouTube, and I think that has to, I think that was an issue. Let's see, can I, and YouTube user, nope, YouTube, I need to grab it from, I know, let's look at action history. Let's see. Oh, can I use user? No. What can I use here? It's already getting it from Twitch raw input. Would it grab it? I think like and this is where Twitch really rules. I mean, it's just so open. You can't get a lot of stuff. I mean, you can. But like for user, it's only broadcaster information. But I wonder if I can on a redeem. Don't think this will work right. Here. I can try it. No, because that would trigger any message coming from YouTube. It's not what I'm looking for. Oh. This is where probably I can probably grab it from. If I use C# to build this stuff. Mm-mm-mm. I'll have to look that up, see if I can find someone to help me from the StreamerBot platform. So I guess I should make notation somewhere, although that message is pretty long, about YouTube or Twitch specific until I learn where I can grab it. I know I can get it, so if I look at action history, so I can basically grab, because I sent a message from YouTube, which then went from YouTube to Twitch. Here, it's either using raw input
Yeah, it's the right
to,
monitor, boss.
I don't think I said anything close to being, I've been on the right monitor computer. Don't mess me up. I don't want the whole message because the message went through, so, and I don't want, yeah, don't raw inputs. All right, I'm gonna give this a little bit of a break. I am gonna load up my iced tea and I will be right back. Computer, break time? Computer, time for break? What did... Let's see. Oh. Computer, be right back.
We are taking a short break. My boss works me too hard. I'm pausing the queue so no commands will work.
All
Here is the
right.
main view bus.
There we go. All right. Should make a pop-up that says certain scenes won't work on YouTube. Okay, let's see. So, computer, right monitor. All right, so I know I
Here
had
is
a
the right monitor
couple.
boss.
Let's see. This is my pause scene. So I need to fix this today. And we're going to change it to and I need to change the cam. Did I change? No, I didn't. Computer left monitor? Sorry,
Here's the left
computer.
monitor boss.
Computer middle monitor? There we
Here's the
go.
middle monitor boss.
So you guys can see. Okay, that is in there. Ah, I didn't change the scene. SBVC. There we go. Okay. Computer right monitor.
Here's the right monitor boss.
What I didn't do is change this one, right? Mute. Okay, and I can run a test from here. All right, and that was the VCR pause. No mic, no sound, no nothing. It's like the VCR has been paused. But I think I do need to fix one thing, so you're going to lose audio for a minute. So on a VCR, when it freezes, even the letters kind of like, because that comes from the unit, I think. It's been so long since I used a VCR. Okay, oops. There's the setup. Desktop right. There we go. All right, so that was working. Now I have to fix all my water, man. Okay. So originally, instead of like doing camera, I was using a Droid cam for a number of years. My Samsung S8 had finally it had overheated a couple of times, and the touchscreen finally stopped working. And it had a cracked screen on it to begin with. Um, but it was working perfectly as a Droid cam, so I changed the name. I'm using a Logitech now to the Droid cam, so I got to change all those names. And these have a lot of actions to them, and it takes a while to set these up. What else is anybody doing? What kind of fourth did you have if you were here in the States? Or did you have fun catching our wonderful leader in his NATO speeches? What a what an idiot. No one there wanted to hear how great he was with America. So if you're just joining, you're lurking, I'm in the process. So I stream both off of Windows and Linux. I barely touch my Windows setup. I know there's a lot of complaining about Windows 11 and all that. I I look at it as my streaming platform. It's what I use to stream with, and majority of the tools that are out there are working on Windows, where I don't have to do workarounds and that. If you are one of those that really do not um uh want to stay with Windows, and you're thinking of coming over to Linux, please check your stuff out before you come on over. It is a big difference. Some are doing it with ease. There's a lot of people going to like Arch, just coming over. I wish you the best. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but know what you're doing. I've had to make a lot of changes. I mean, I streamed on Linux I started 8 years ago streaming, and it's all my streaming has been on Linux until a couple of years ago, where my second favorite distribution, Pop OS, decided to go with their Cosmic Desktop. And there's still a lot of work to be done. They're working on it every day. But at this time, between Rust, Wayland, and NVIDIA, things just don't work right. I haven't looked at it now in about 10 months. But I had dock issues and things like that. So I went back to Endeavor. I had been running Endeavor for a while and really is an Arch-based system and was 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 good. No problems. But I'm looking to where things are easier and I get a more Windows-like experience using the install for Ubuntu-based systems off of an OBS. The Flatpak is really not something I want to use because of issues with not having um, the plugins that I need on Flatpak. So what I have done and what, you're watching and hopefully not being extremely bored, but it is kind of boring. Some of these things I don't know if are going to work after I fix them without it being live. So that's what this is, a test. So do I have some of these twice? Visible. I don't know. Okay. So I did a lot of renaming over on my OBS side. So now I have to refix everything in StreamerBot to make sure that the actions work because they're connected, but they're not connected. StreamerBot will not see any changes or any name changes that you make in OBS. And some of my actions are pretty complicated. and I have to change a lot on certain scenes. Some of them are really quick and easy. So I'm sorry if I'm not doing a lot of talking. Okay. And so when these get to be a bit complicated, I'm not paying attention to the chat. Okay, we can try this in just a second. Okay. Run a test trigger. So let's see the mask. Why didn't I promote him? Dog. Does it sound differently? Make a clip of it. Alright, so that's not something is messed up. Let's see. Gonna lose me for a second. Okay, inside I had to change, I didn't change the name on a couple of things from the setup that I have. So let's see. And that was for the mask. So I have it where one scene I'm going down and the other's coming up as it changes. Oh, those can stay the same. Okay, that's right. All right, let's see how this works one more time. There we go. Now I'm blub 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 blub. Now it should be like a deep tone, kind of like a very muffled, like being underwater, talking underwater. But this was a fun scene to make. I may have hit that clip button too quickly. All right, that works. I think that was the last two to kind of fix. All right, let me see if this clip. Sorry, I'm watching the thing and it's like, okay, nope, something's wrong there. I want to make a recording for a second because it didn't sound like my mic was going right. I don't know. Oh, it's been stuck on the underwater voice. Oh, how long was I talking like that? Probably when I started setting this up. Dummy. Dummy, dummy, dummy. Oh, because I also. Because I'm using easy effects for all my voice shades except for the underwater one, which I shouldn't have to use. And the filter. Okay, let me go back 1 second. And then I'm going to call it a night. I hope you weren't too bored today. That's why people, like, after a while, they don't want, it could be here forever. They don't want to change anything, but sometimes you have to. And when you do, it's just like, oh my gosh, it takes forever. Come on. Oh, there we go. That should have been hidden. Why did that change? That's the problem I've been having. Okay. Okay. All right. I actually do a record here. I don't often record when I'm streaming, so the frames per second did drop. All right, so should be recording in a normal voice, and then let's run the test trigger, and then we're gonna go underwater, and it should have triggered on the other filters that you guys can't see, and then it didn't turn off before, so now it should be kind of like muffled, like underwater. Recording will help. Oh my god, yeah, the system doesn't like recording and streaming at the same time. Alright, and let's one look. And the filter turned off. Okay, so I should have been back to a normal voice. Alright, I'm going to check out that recording later. And, okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for that might have been watching and joining. I know it was exciting and fun. Keep up with your system. If you need to make changes, make changes. Knowing it's not easy, but I always hope that people will join and ask me about this stuff, and I'll explain it the best I can. But as you can see, so this is on Linux. A lot of it, the StreamerBot's working. I got it working in what's called bottles, or you can, which is a flat pack version of Wine, or you can install Wine version. All right, so now we're going to move to my goodbye scene, and we're going to see if things are working there where I have to fix them. So I want to thank everybody, and let's say goodbye. All right. My rolling credits still are not working, so I have to look at the rolling credits. We had everybody that was here and been a part of the stream. But tomorrow, Thursday, should be back to normal. Thursday without borders, some geoguessing. So I hope you like geoguessing. I know that's been my most popular night. I probably will pick up some more geoguessing. It's just fun. We have a good time. So come and see me tomorrow. About 3:30ish or so Central Time. All right, thanks for putting them up with me. Bye.